Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. It's my pleasure to bring to you the October City Manager Report. Cannot believe how time flies. Let's just go ahead and jump right into it. Start with dates that are important that you might want to make note of throughout the month. First of all, the Source River Joint Board will be meeting on October 4th. The Minot Area Development Corporation Board meeting will be at 11:30 on the 11th. The landfill input meeting, which we'll talk more about here in the presentation, will be at the auditorium at 6:30 on October 11th. The Library County / City Library merger meeting will be held on October 15th. The Chamber Board meeting on the 16th. The annual meeting for the Minot Area Chamber of Commerce will be held at the Grand Hotel at 11:30 on the 17th. And then the governor is slated to meet with us and spend some time in Minot on October 22nd. I'll talk more about that as well in the presentation. Several other meetings here going along. I'll just point out a couple highlights. The Economic Development Fall Conference will start at the Grand Hotel on October 29th. It should be a very good conference for us. Committee of the Whole will be on the 30th and 31st, and then finally, next City Council meeting will be on November the 5th. We did celebrate this Trinity's groundbreaking. This was a fantastic opportunity for folks to come out and look at the progress that's been made at the Trinity facility. We're so grateful for the investments that Trinity is making in Minot. It's a fantastic facility. It'll serve our community and the surrounding communities very well. So we do appreciate the partnership we have with Trinity. As you may know, they're still continuing to support us, and they've financed the latest dog, the police dog that we've purchased, or that they've purchased for our behalf, which is getting trained now. We're grateful for the relationship we have with the Trinity staff. The North Dakota League of Cities held its annual conference this last month in September. We had a small contingent from Minot attend, as many of you know. A couple of you attended as well. There was very good information, I think, presented at the annual conference. A couple noteworthy things happened. First of all, I was appointed to the Board of Directors, so I have a 2-year term, and I will be doing what I can to try to get Minot this conference in the near future. I think it's important that we add an additional city by which this conference rotates around the state. So I'll be working hard for that, along with other things that will benefit all cities across North Dakota. One very important announcement, which was published already, so the cat's already out of the bag, but it's worth mentioning again, and that is that the City of Minot did receive the 2018 City of the Year Award by the North Dakota League of Cities. This is the first time we've received it in 34 years. It's the only time it's been received by the City of Minot in that same time frame. So we're very, very pleased and proud of the over 350 different cities across the state that we were selected as one of the cities of the year. There were notable accomplishments that contributed to acquiring this distinction, among just not only being innovative and creative and a good citizen municipal leaders. The hazard mitigation project at the water treatment plant, the Mouse River Enhanced Flood Protection Project, are contributing work on the NAWS project, and then of course the downtown infrastructure project was also noteworthy in our award. There was another award that we received you may not have known about, and this is the Downtown Improvement Project. Recall, this is the 26 block, $30 million plus dollar investment in our downtown. It was given another award, this by the North Dakota American Public Works Association, Project of the Year. It's an outstanding award. APWA considered this one of the best public improvement projects throughout the state, which is fantastic. This is not the only award, as you're aware, that the Downtown Improvement Project has received. In fact, it has received 3 other awards, so this marks its 4th award, and we're very, very excited about this. We're also excited because the timing is perfect, since the mayor, or the governor rather, is going to be visiting with us on October 22nd to talk about the Main Street Initiative. So we will be able to show firsthand the improvements and the investments we've made in downtown and how we've made it more walkable and livable for those who are in and around downtown. The governor will be visiting with us to take that tour and to also schedule time to listen to community members about his Main Street initiative and to identify things that are working well in communities and other things that cities and the state itself can do to help improve downtowns. So our role will be many to provide a sounding board essentially for the governor, to provide tours and show highlights of what we've done, and also to give the governor insights as to what the Main Street initiative is doing for our city and what it can do for others as well. So we're excited about his visit. Next, we also did conduct as a region for 2 days with FEMA, also state representatives and county representatives, a flood protection or flood preparation tabletop exercise. This was very, very good. It was well attended, and the exercise does allow us to continue to prepare and coordinate and plan, integrate and collaborate with all sorts of agencies across the federal, state, county, district, and city levels. It was an outstanding series of workshops and presentations and those sorts of things, which I think is going to benefit our community very well going forward. There's a lot of folks in our community talking trash, maybe not as many as we'd like, so we're going to invite them to come to a public meeting here in just a week or so. We're, of course, talking about the landfill expansion, and essentially what I wanted to share with you is that since we have pulled back from advancing the landfill expansion project to take a closer look at identifying various community concerns and issues, we've developed a focus group of a dozen or so representatives from around not just our city, but even those that represent other businesses that do business with the landfill. And we've been working through a series of meetings. I think we've had 7 or 8 meetings with this focus group to identify criteria and to evaluate, using that criteria, other potential options other than the expansion of the landfill. That work has concluded, and we're ready to present that information to the community at a public meeting, which will be held on October 11th at 6:30 in the auditorium at room 301. And we're going to continue to collect information at that public meeting. This will be open to not just those who are closest to the landfill, but everyone inside the city, and we want to hear from everyone. That information will be collected at that public meeting, and then we will churn the information, and by the next committee of the whole meeting, we hope to be able to present all of that information to the committee of the whole and seek a recommendation for a path forward. So that's kind of the plan at this point in time as it relates to the future of the landfill. The mayor did mention this, so I won't spend much time on it. The GAP Financing project, or program rather, had its first successful closing here just recently. We have 10 other applications that are in process, and we're very excited about this program. There are several criteria that must be met by community members. They're listed here on the screen. For additional information, residents should contact either our National Disaster Resiliency Program manager, which is John Zakian, or Chris Owen, our federal compliance officer. Construction is continuing, and I'm sure that the snow was not welcomed given all of this morning, given all of the activity that still has yet to be done. But there are some significant noteworthy updates to be made. 2nd Avenue is now open to 2-lane traffic, which is great. And it was closed for a while, as you all know. We were able to get that back open. That was, of course, for flood protection work that was going along there. Construction also continues on the Broadway Bridge and 83 Bypass. Those projects remain on track for wrapping up. Although that's, of course, weather dependent, we do hope that the weather does allow for those to continue without delay. So. If you would like more information about these and other construction projects, there is a pamphlet that's been developed for you to go into further detail about each of these on your desk. And of course, we have some for the public outside on the table. North Coast Fest has been just wrapped up this last weekend. It was a fantastic event. I was unable to attend my first year here because there was a conference that actually occurred during the same time period. So this was my first opportunity to visit. I have several children that performed in the Hustfest, which was very fun to watch. We were there just about every day, and I was very, very impressed. It was an amazing experience for me. And for those who haven't gone, and I know many in our community have not because I've asked, they're missing out for sure. It's extremely interesting, educational, cultural exchange. It's just incredible. We got to spend an evening out with some of the musicians that came over from Sweden that spent time educating our children in music and in cultural music, and that was just an absolute great event as well. So a couple things I wanted to mention also. When Høstfest was here, we had a contingent from Norway and other countries that came to visit with us. And I don't know if many people know that Minot is a sister city to Skien, Norway. And just so people know kind of where that is, this is a map here on the left side showing Norway. And of course, Norway is divided up into counties, just like you might imagine in our state. Telemark County is the county that holds the city of Skien. And there's some interesting facts about Skien. It's just a little bit larger than us in population, but almost 10 times larger than us in a land area, which is kind of interesting. The opportunity arose whereby the mayor and I got to meet with the ex-city manager who was representing the county or the city council of Skien. And I wanted to just mention that they have extended an invitation to us to come and visit with them. It's been some time since we've done this, and they'd like to see us strengthen the relationship between the two cities. So we're going to be working on ways that we can do that, not just through the city of Minot, but also through the university, the school system, and others. There was an agreement that you may be aware of that was signed last year by Mayor Chuck Barney and representatives of those organizations in Minot that I mentioned. And we were able to sit and talk through that agreement, and we realized that essentially that agreement had not yet been ratified by the City Council. So we will be doing that at the next City Council meeting to bring that agreement and share with you more information about the importance of a sister city relationship and the value that it brings to our community and to our sister cities community as well. So you'll expect to see more on that at the next City Council. The legislative timeline was presented at the Committee of the Whole. I won't go into great detail other than to just say if that is approved by the City Council this evening, I'd also like to encourage you, as well as members from our community, particularly leaders from around our community, to begin working on legislative issues. And that way we can be sure that we get all important issues in front of our local area legislators so that we can have a more effective and productive and positive outcome on this legislative session. So I just wanted to say this is the call for legislative topics so that we can begin vetting those and working up positions on each of those. I do want to recognize some staff this evening, and you know, we get a lot of criticism as a city for all the things that people like to say we're not doing right. And unfortunately, that tends to be all we ever hear, unfortunately. So it's great every once in a while to stop and to share those things that people are very impressed with us by and people appreciate and applaud our efforts on. And I wanted to do that this evening. Mr. Mayor, if you wouldn't mind joining me so we could recognize one particular staff member on this front. I want to point this out as the mayor's joining us. The Ward County Jail, the construction of the new Ward County Jail and the rehabilitation and renovation of the old jail and the courthouse remodel was all done by Adolphson and Peterson Construction Company. Conrad Johnson was the superintendent. He wrote a very nice email to Mitch, our building official, and I wanted to just put this email up so you can read it, and I'll just touch on some components of it. You know, he says that the team was very helpful in the many problem-solving scenarios we encountered. The remodel portion was quite the logistics challenge, and their team found the city to be a great resource and asset. He considers inspections another part of their project team and might not prove to be great people or good people to work with. He wanted to thank us, in particular Mitch, for his assistance on a very challenging project, and also gave recognition to the road department, the sewer and water departments, and mentioned that they were great people to work with. And in particularly wanted to thank the building officials, electrical, mechanical, and plumbing inspectors, and plan reviewers, as well as the Minot Fire Department for all the hard work that they did. So I think if you would allow me, I'd like to bring Mitch up to have him be recognized for this achievement and for all the other achievements that go without saying throughout the year. Mr. May, I think you have something for Mitch.
Yep, absolutely. So for those of you who have seen it on the flag or in some of our artwork, we have a city coin. And so this is where you got to turn around though.
Okay, all right.
So we do have a city coin here, and as soon as the mayoral coins are finished there, Mitch, you'll be getting one of those as well. So in appreciation of your work and your due diligence of helping getting the project taken care of, we have to say thank you, because as City Manager Barry indicated, we don't always get to hear the accolades, and it's just as important. And we appreciate absolutely the hard work and dedication.
Thank you, Mitch, very much. You want to thank?
I want to say that it wasn't just me, it was the whole team, including the Public Works to help with the problem they had with the fuel tanks down there, and the engineering department. It wasn't just me, so it's for everybody on staff. Thanks.
Excellent. All righty. We have one more staff person to recognize, Jason McKibben, our IT manager. Would you come and join us, sir? And if I could ask David Lakefield, where are you at? Come join us as well. David was a key and instrumental person who helped integrate and develop some important IT solutions between the city and the county. And David Lakefield, our finance director, is also the manager of the IT department. So I'm going to ask him to take it from here in regard to the accomplishments that Jason and his team were able to achieve during this time in transition. So, Mr. Lakefield.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Members of the council, I just want to read a couple of excerpts from this letter received from Ward County Emergency Management Agency. Mr. Larry Haug, who is the 911 coordinator, he starts out, I'm writing this letter to bring to your attention one of your IT employees who I feel has gone above and beyond normal expectations of someone in his position. He has worked with other employees regardless of what department they work for in solving their computer-related problems. His ability to analyze a problem and work through to a solution without becoming frustrated is inspiring. When I started in the spring of 2014, there was no established routine integration between my program and Central Dispatch in order to enable the person in the 911 coordinator's position to accomplish this coordination. He took it upon himself to create a manual that illustrated how to get map updates from his office into the dispatch center. The original document was 53 pages long and took considerable effort on his part to make a very complicated procedure user-friendly. With that document and assistance with periodic map program problems, he was able to improve the 911 map updating procedures over the past 4 years to what it is now. When the city updated their New World software in 2018, you had to revamp the entire procedure again to bring it in compliance and allow that process to take place. Due to his diligence in spearheading this project, things went smooth and there was no interruption of emergency services during the transition. During all of this, and countless times I have contacted him with map program problems, he has maintained a level of composure that is admirable. He's always polite and maintains positive can-do attitude, even when things are not going according to plan. When it comes to emergency services, the computer programming necessary for Minot Central Dispatch has no room for error. Thanks to his level of perfection, the information and computer programming our dispatchers have is the best available. I am very thankful to have someone like him along with his support staff to ensure continued service of the highest level. Please pass on my thanks to him, his entire staff, for their combined efforts to provide the employees and citizens of the city of Minot the best service possible. I just want to read the one other excerpt from the cover letter that came with this that I thought was probably very fitting. I'm not sure what or if you want to do anything with this or not, but I think Jason deserves some sort of recognition for the work he does. Personally, I think the guy should be wearing a superhero outfit with a cape. Anyway, at least know you have an exceptional employee there who has really helped me out while I've been in this position. If it would not have been for him, I'm not so sure things would have worked out the way they have. Thank you for your consideration, Larry Haug.
Now, don't go anywhere here. So this is only fitting because we know that IT people love to be in the spotlight, up front in front of everybody. So, you know, with that, honestly, for someone who does a better job at destroying technology than keeping it working, I can say we're extraordinarily appreciative of all of the hard work that folks like you do, and especially with you bringing that mentality. And you know, when they say provide, power, protect, in the case of the IT, with the work that we've seen, it's not only innovate but inspire. So thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. With that, council members, I am finished with the city manager's report. We'll take any questions you might have.
Alderman Straight.
Mr. Mayor, thank you. Tom, I just wanted to volunteer first to be maybe the council's, you know, ambassador. I could head over to Norway. I can meet with the Shane representatives.
I'll put you down first in line, right?
I think Alderman Walski will pay for that for me, so just for that. Tom, I just wanted to get a quick update on where we're at with the, after the September 6th Gathering 1.0. Do we have any update from kind of the environmental review that's taking place on the gathering space? And do we, any update, or are we just kind of waiting for that to come to fruition, which we think is in maybe by the end of this month?
Mr. Mayor, Alderman Straight, I actually do not have an update on that. I'm going to see if maybe Mr. Meyer might take that, but I haven't gotten the latest up.
I can help. Mr. Mayor, Alderman Straight, today I sent some of the report language back to our consultant, who will then get that back to EPA, so things should be happening pretty quick now.
Okay. Thanks, Lance.
You're welcome.
Continue, Alderman Straight.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Tom, when we were at the League of Cities, and I had forgot to ask Chief Olson about it, but is the city contemplating, are we considering participating in that Vision Zero, trying to discuss, trying to get to zero traffic fatalities within the city of Minot? If there's a way that we could participate with that from the state, I think that would be, that was one of the little workshops I attended at League of Cities. I think that would be beneficial. I have a 16-year-old little brother who's now a driver, and I think it's an important conversation to keep in the public eye. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Thank you.
Any questions or comments for Alderman or for City Manager Barry? If not, I just do want to follow up on the conversation that we had with Mr. Rolf Hagen from Chien, that the idea behind the sister city, for a lot of folks that may not be fully aware, is it's more than just being an ambassador back and forth to each other, but helping each other prosper economically and socially as well. And I think that that's the conversation moving forward with Mr. Hagen and some of the other representatives from Chien that will certainly be explored. And I know that was the conversation a number of years ago when members of MADC, and I believe even former Mayor Barney, had talked about, and to hopefully rekindle some of those conversations. Thank you, Mr. Barry.
Thank you.
And that